Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this brand new day. Definitely a thumbs up on that. It is good to metabolize. I enjoy metabolizing. Definitely a thumbs up on that. I didn't sleep well. I'm running through a period where I sleep maybe maximum 5 hours a night, but it used to be before that I would go to bed around 10ish and then wake up around 3 or 4 and then just toss and turn until I was so bored and hurt and I got up. Now I go to bed around 12ish, 1ish, so when I do wake up, it's time to wake up anyway. So, I mean, it's kind of working, so thumbs up on that. And of course, to front load the video, hey, if you could interact with the YouTube algorithms by dropping me a comment of some kind, that would be very cool. If you could toss me a like, if you like what you see in here, definitely a thumbs up on that. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you like what you see in here, if you could subscribe, that would definitely be a cool thing. And I definitely want to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These beautiful and awesome people help to keep me alive and my pets alive too. I have a kitty cat and a hamster, and without these people, I would not be able to do it. Hokey SMOKES. So thank you, each and every one of you, so very much. It is appreciated to no end. Definitely a thumbs up. If you'd like to become a patron, wherever the video description is, there's links to a whole bunch of stuff, including my patronage. Patreon. Yeah, thumbs up. Anyway, though, front loading of the video over, so yeah, at least I slept. And it was cold last night, but not too cold. I just wore my plaid shirt as a jacket and went out into the wet and cold, needed an umbrella for some of the time, and it was nice. As much as I'm having trouble with SADS this year, seasonal affective disorder syndrome, where the lack of sunlight actually affects your mood, and I am getting, kicked to the curb and back by SADS this year. But as much as I don't like SADS, I also do like going walkies when it's cold and dark like that. It's pleasant for me. I enjoy it. I like going out into the sun, but I spent so long doing things in darkness like that it's still pleasant. And so I went out walkies last night, and I stopped by we have a Christmas tree maze. The previous Christmas tree mazes that we've had have been largely, you start at one end, you walk, and you make it through because it's just one path. Oh, they outdid themselves this time. I have been through that thing about 3 times. First time, I couldn't do it. Second time, I walked from the end and then saw where it all went, and then took a look on the inside to make sure I could find my way through it again. Went through it, even knowing what the path is, and I still got lost. They really outdid themselves on the tree maze. So it's cool. I have my video camera that I took out, and I did some stuff a couple weeks back now, but I lost my card reader, so hopefully I'm going to be able to find a new one, or else locate where this one went, and I can get the info off the memory card, because that'll be good. Still though, it's fine. I got stuff, and as soon as I can get it off the card, then that'll be good, and I'll be able to do that. So thumbs up on that. A very good thing. There is some stuff that I want to take a look at on my topics list, because even though there's a couple things, there's actually only one that I want to talk about because of all the things that I was listening to and watching, but one of them is actually a Kurzgesagt video. And I laugh when I see people struggle over words like Kurzgesagt, because I spent 4 years in high school studying German, and then I spent 2 years living in Germany in the Air Force. So when I look at a German word, it doesn't matter how long it is, I know how to pronounce it. And so there's people struggling with the word Kurzgesagt. And no, it's easy. You just look at it, it's right there. Unlike English, the German language follows like rules. So if you know how to pronounce something, you know how to pronounce it. And that's a good thing. But point being, they're talking about something that's come up periodically that I've seen talked about, but I first heard about decades ago. I read a science fiction book where one of the alien races, when they detect another alien race out there, like us, they will fire relativistic missiles at that intelligence. What is a relativistic missile? As a quick and not so quick example, I don't know, have you heard about how there is a missile system around the Earth? It doesn't exist, but it could, where you put up satellites with a large number of like titanium steel rods. They're about the size of telephone poles or larger. They don't have to be huge, but you don't even need to fire them. They don't need to explode. They just need to be titanium steel rods, and you shoot them out of orbit down at the surface of the planet. When one of those rods hit at orbital speeds, that one telephone pole steel rod size thing will discharge with enough energy to be almost like a nuclear blast, except no radiation. And that's just dropping something from orbit. If you fire off something from, say, Alpha Centauri 4 light years away, and you just keep increasing its speed, you give it like, say, solar rockets. So as it's getting power, it just keeps pumping that power into the speed. You'll never hit the speed of light. You can't. But if you get that thing up to 90% of the speed of light, and then it comes wham into the surface of our planet, there may not even be a planet left. And it doesn't have to be anything but a big chunk of metal or rock with a little motor on it to keep pushing it in that direction. Maybe a computer for course correction, 4 light years after all. But when it hits, boom, nothing left. And that was from the novel that I read decades back. And the Kurzgesagt is about that, the dark forest theory about why we can't see anything out there. Because there's only 2 types of alien civilizations. The quiet ones do not attract attention, and the dead ones, the ones that attracted attention. Because we have resource competition on the face of our planet that's horrific. What if that's everywhere? If you're a hunter in a dark forest and you hear another hunter, they're probably going to try and kill you. So you need to kill them so they don't kill you. So you get noticed in the outside of the universe. You've got some relativistic missiles coming your way, and whack! You're not a competitor for resources anymore. So that's an issue, and it could be rough. We don't have to worry about it. I mean, we're probably not going to survive like our planet, by more than 100 years or. But anyway. Plus, though, I did want to talk about some creative writing stuff and inside-outside stuff, because as I was walking last night, I was thinking about this. Something that was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I even think of this? Excuse me. Part of it, of course, is the ADHD, and it's hard to remember something. I am so out of sight, out of mind my whole life, I have forgotten that I have had a sister and stepsisters at times. I am out of sight, out of mind. Turns out, massive ADHD thing. So joy, it's hard for me to work on stuff because it's hard to stay focused and concentrate and remember stuff. But one of the things is I do want to have, let's see, if this is the cryptids thing, isn't it? Or is it the different type? I do want to have cryptids in the world. And there's another type of energy that I would posit that comes out of some doorways where people cannot go in to live. But this extra type of energy occasionally gets belched outward. And because it's a different type than what the universe is dealing with, it tends to accumulate. It dissipates and gets converted a little bit slower. And so it accumulates. On the outside, we have the handshake protocol of like the color lavender. Everything in our universe has the color lavender, and so we match up and we do. On the inside, it's like the human note of soprano. This energy is like the smell of cloves. We don't have a handshake protocol for that either. On the inside, only about 50% of the people have the handshake protocol for that. And that is the cryptid energy. So they largely can't even be interacted with or seen by human beings or others, unless, of course, they are going to interact with you. And in the case of most cryptids, if they're going to interact with you, it, of course, being their choice, you may may not come out of this one in a very happy and friendly way. I also posit there are about 12 archetypes of cryptids if you take a look through the world. And they fit roughly, and because it's just a loose thing, there's just four loose types of cryptids. There's the kind that, Bigfoot, intelligent, but they don't interact with others. There's the kind that's the creature, the Loch Ness Monster type cryptid. And then there's the mythological. What about all those type of cryptids that they talk about in Japan? Hokey smokes, there's a hell of a lot of frightening folklore and mythology that would work as cryptids from this energy. And then of course there's another type that's just, hatred, revenge, kill. But even though these cryptids do kill, and some of them are kill crazy, but they follow rules, and they are transactional rules. You break the rules, you get punished. Sometimes that means you get lost, or you get hurt, or you lose something, or you lose memories, or you lose something, and sometimes that means you lose you, and they find your body. Some of the cryptids, of course, they don't require it, but one of the punishments is you don't survive, and no one finds the body afterward. But it's a transgression and transactional type thing. You transgressed, broke the rules, here's the punishment. They are stuck and trapped in these roles as well. Nothing is set in stone. Your mileage may vary. Happens with cryptids too. Some of them are very strict, not their choice. Some of them are very loose, not their choice, just what they are. There's that type that's the 13th kind of cryptid though. This cryptid is just a subset of every other one, and it is a blessing and a curse, of course, as I've mentioned. You're both just a normal cryptid, and you're a scourge on humanity as well. Because as the 13th cryptid, you don't actually follow a script. You still have your largely human mind in your now non-human body. You don't follow the scripts of whatever cryptid you happen to be. The curse of that is you are required to eat human beings to survive. You have to. Just like we eat food, these type of cryptids have to eat human beings. The number and frequency, that again, your mileage may vary. No real way to tell. The story I want to try and tell of is this person who has gene expressed. These are the extra universal genes that with this energy that accumulates, they express until finally you become. There are also families and branches of cryptids out in the wild that this energy just sustains. But this guy becomes a cryptid. He finally expresses and becomes a 13th kind of a Bigfoot. Body is changed, bigger, taller, heavier, hairier, kind of looks human that way, wouldn't really, stand out too much. But the story starts when this one fellow's out walking, sees this guy go staggering into an alley covered in gore, and goes to find out what's going on, and find out he's a cryptid. But the guy that sees him, he also has the sight. And oddly, he spends most of his time, I have a moth flying around again, spends most of his time meeting and not befriending, because a lot of cryptids are so programmed that they can't really break out and make friends. But he has met over the past 25 years, just spent most of his time hanging out with cryptids instead of actual other people. And talking with the person who has become the cryptid, find out he's eaten a guard and is just torn up about it. He was starving of hunger, ate someone, now he's not. And then it's like, I bet you're one of these. And then trying to find out just how many people, how often this new cryptid, this new Bigfoot type has to eat to survive. Turns out later that this one fellow that befriends him actually is a cryptid himself. But very, very minor. The only thing that they really do is hang out and not get murdered by other cryptids. They just spend their time with cryptids instead of other people. Later on, when these two individuals end up in a bad place, it's a very sad story that I want to talk about and tell, but I'm going to do that tomorrow because it really is kind of sad and I keep trying to rub it in to make it even worse. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments, my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the last 24 hours. There's not a ton, there rarely are, but anything more than 0 is awesome, so thank you. And if I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. I am an American English speaker, and even though I can't American Sign Language, oy vey, oy vey. We have Hoodie Blackheart, thumbs up and thank you. NVO, greatly appreciated. Nerksley, thumbs up. Apparently my little peep reaction video is blowing up on TikTok again, so I've got more people coming by to say, oh wow. So thank you very much. King Shiloh, thumbs up. MFG Slimy, greatly appreciated. Angie, thumbs up. We have Solitiverse, greatly appreciated, and I will check that out. Gabs, thumbs up and thank you. Marie Tonya, thumbs up. Pancake Cookie, good to see you in the comments. Craig YAC, thumbs up and good to see you as well. Yuki likes hot potatoes, and good to see you. And Mountain Tea, and then all those vowels, thumbs up and thank you as well, good to see you. And Larry from Space, thumbs up, thank you very much. And Ben B, in fact, good to see you too as well. And then Ice, am I 10? I've forgotten how many people I was just doing. My fingers really hurt this morning, and so I'm distracted by pain on top of everything else. So I don't know how many people that was, but there's Ice Damon and Jester, and then there's Filippo, and thank you all, each and every one of you. You've gotten me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only in text, and that's definitely a thumbs up, thank you. Now, of course, with my hands in the air, I don't know what device you're watching this on, but if you check out the video description, I have links inside to all of my various channels, as well as things like Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and again, I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. I cannot work. I am disabled. I am broken. Because I can't work, of course, I'm on a very limited income, and my income barely covers my rent. These people here keep me alive, and that is beautiful and awesome. So thank you all so very much. And if you'd like to become a patron, again, there are links down below, and that would be awesome and greatly appreciated. If you'd like to help me out without doing that, I have a PayPal link, and if you'd like to help me out without sending money, there's an Amazon wishlist link. If you could check it out, that'd be very awesome. I do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled. And if you cannot or do not donate, I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart where I got interest. So thank you much. If you can toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. And of course, if you hit the notification bell on the subscription button, greatly appreciated. Thumbs up for that. And of course, please, these are a nice foundation for life, and it's a good idea, but don't just stop there. Make these a good foundation, but then also do other good things with your life as well. Definitely a thumbs up. And of course, with the Covfefe bug still raging and new variants showing up because people won't take care, please, if you don't have to go out amongst others, don't. If you do, maintain your social distancing, wear a mask, wash your hands often, try not to touch your face. Oy vey. Get a vaccine, get the booster, do what you can. I still see things online where people are going, gosh, you know, it's like they're targeting us. You know, we're unvaxxed, and you know, the Democrats aren't dying, and people that get the booster aren't dying. They're targeting the unvaxxed. No, you're targeting yourself. You've drawn the target on your forehead. You've leaned your head against the barrel. You've got a stick. You're trying to hook the trigger. Get out of there. Stop that. Take care of yourself. So, you take care. Have a great day today. We'll see you on the flip side, and if you watched this far, thank you very, very much.